Hello and welcome to a new episode of the BIMvoice podcast. Today's guest is Marcin Pszczolka. He's a BIM coordinator at Norconsult in Oslo, Norway, and co-founder of BIM Corner. Welcome, Marcin.
Hi, Petru. Thanks for having me here. Thank you.
I'm really glad to have you here. Please introduce yourself and let's start with that.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to correct you a bit because my name is Marcin Pszczolka. I'm from Poland, that's why it's quite confusing sometimes to pronounce it. I graduated from University of Technology in Poland within infrastructure and planning, road planning in Gliwice. I'm passionate about infrastructures and new technologies. That's why I combine those two words, and now I'm working in Norway as a BIM coordinator with new technologies in one of the leading company in Norway, in Norconsult.
Yes. When did you start working with BIM actually? When did you start working in Norway? When did you start working with BIM?
It started during studies because the first step I made was I went to Erasmus exchange, and then I realized that actually in Poland we don't use so much technology on normal faculty. So I first time I met this technology there in Portugal. It was studies, but after this I also decided to go further, and I also had the possibility to be on exchange intern program. It was more internship in at that time. It was company Sfeco in Hamar. It's a little town north of the Oslo. So I had the pleasure to work with people that already use that technology. So I have learned Nova Point, and then I decide, because also it was the time to write master thesis, because it was my last year at university. So I decided to write about new technologies in infrastructure. It was about BIM on level 2 and about Nova Point. So I think it was 2014. Yes.
I see. Interesting. So you have a few years now. We'll come back later to your experience and some projects you have worked on. But now let's just approach a little bit the other side of your daily job or your personal time. You are also a founder of BIM Corner, which is a blog, for who doesn't know, a very well respected blog with very nice information that many people learn lots of things from. When did you start BIM Corner and why?
Yes, so we established our website, our blog last year in September, but blog is actually founded by 6 Polish engineers. So we decide, first of all, like there was a kickoff meeting where we decided we want to do something together. So we also were well oriented, and we know that like posting or sharing knowledge is something we would like to do in the future. So we wanted to have a place when we can write down our knowledge, write about our experience, and just share with people our feeling about BIM. So we know that also industry, generally, lacks structured and easy to understand knowledge. So our goal was to provide some place where everyone can invite and find something for themselves. And we would like to promote BIM as a very simple tool or a methodology, but also through the way we see it. And we know that the problem is that you can find a lot of websites, or you just need to write in Google BIM technology, but you don't know where to start. So BIM Corner is a place where you should start, and this is why we also run this project.
Yeah, that's nice, and actually that is very useful and good because, as you said, it's very difficult to find information. And I will adjust that to is not difficult to find information, but it's difficult to find the right information. It's so much noise out there. It's so much unstructured information out there, and a lot of it's very entangled with marketing for specific software platforms, and it's not.
Yes.
This is something that I really appreciate about your blog, that you write from. It's an unbiased view, like for all of you from your own experiences. You don't write as theories there. You write from your experiences, what you are using at work, what you have used in the past, and what it worked and what did not work. So this is something that is very important, and I hope it will help with becoming a platform that and having a little bit of control about this. It's been like a wild west there, with everybody just connected it to its software, and it was only that. If you were searching for BIM, you will come up with all the software solutions, but not an explanation of the whole concept of what is actually building information modeling and how it's used in practice. Okay, since we are here, what is your take on this then? What is BIM for you?
Yeah, BIM for me is like my answer is still evolving because many people often ask me this, and I always try to put myself in non-technical shoes, like people with who asks me this. And for me, BIM is a set of tools and practices that improve work efficiency and quality of project documentation. That simply means that the goal is to work efficiently and provide high quality documentation. So it means it's a method to produce better road, better design, but at the same time work smarter and use less time on unnecessary activities. So I think this is BIM for me, and I try to do it every day, like work smarter.
Yeah, yeah, work smarter. Uh, what can you name some of the benefits we would have if we would have been using BIM all along, like daily?
Yeah. So first of all, I think it's the benefit is like better project understanding, that you can use these 3D dimensional models and view it or show it to other person that are not so technical, but also they need to make some crucial decisions. So it's better to understand them. But also it's like collaboration when you work at project with other disciplines, other industries, and suddenly you just find the same explanation of issue. You can look at the same time at the same model and find better decision, as I said, or even idea of how you can manage to avoid some collision or something. So the of course high quality of data, that every time you produce from 3D models, it means also that you need to focus a bit more about on 3D, and then you produce to do 2D documentation from that. Faster decision making, I said, you involve a lot of people, and there's also like a C2 cut emission, actually, because you produce less paper documentation during project, or you even afterwards you make better objects that are built afterwards. So with parametric design, for example, you can adjust as much as it's possible to have the same level of like the model is well structured, and you can build after the model. And the building 2 times give you space to analyze solution and of course like that choose better make better decisions. I think this is the like first benefits I it comes to mind.
I understand. Uh, what do you think about the what exactly is happening in our industry? Like, does everyone understand these benefits? Are we employing BIM, building information modeling, enough? Can we do it better?
Yeah, actually, I can actually rely on it that there is a problems and challenges because, as you know, BIM becomes a specialty of its own. That actually everyone wants to do BIM, but they don't know actually what it means. That most of people think, still, most of people think that BIM is tools, BIM is a software or set of softwares, but they don't focus so much on other things like processes or how you deliver your data on construction site. This is the most important. The also what is problematic now that there is a bunch of tools, formats, standards, workflows, method. Uh, there is a problem that, for example, interoperability still doesn't exist in some places. Of course, it's evolving, but in normal size companies, you need still export your data to other formats, or you can you maybe use the native formats. But the key is to collaborate and work together with other parties, but also the common understanding should be established that authorities they need to know what are benefits, but not benefits that you can read from the book, but you actually need to ask them and see or just together you need to find the solution for them. So don't give them BIM as a BIM for itself, but maybe they need just some adjustment to their work today. So I think like BIM should be introduced as a way of smart working, not like a solution for everything. So people should understand that this helps us, but this is not the goal that we need all together do BIM. So I think that is the problem today.
Mhm. Um, if we take a closer look at the entire supply chain, like different stakeholders, uh, do you see any parts that are doing better than others? Are there any improvements that we could make, like we should focus on?
Of course, like this designing companies doing quite well that they can, for example, they implement BIM very early. I'm just thinking about Norway, for example. So the companies start with BIM quite early, like 2010 or even earlier. So they are very good in 3D modeling and project management, but now it's actually the time where we want to build and construct faster. So, for example, total enterprises that involve all parties. It means that all parties need to work together, and I see now that designing part managed quite well BIM delivery, but still there is a problem on construction side that you deliver model, but actually contractors sometimes don't know what they need to expect from the designer, and workers like simple workers they don't know how to use the model. So it's starting it's becoming more and more tenders like that, like total enterprises, but still this is a challenge to to use model on construction site, and of course construction site, but also authorities. In Norway is a different situation because authorities are very aware of that. So what they can actually order and how BIM model should look like, and also they set bar quite high. But other countries still there is a problem with explaining to authorities what they should need and what they should expect from designers to be delivered on the construction site, and then to this asset management phase.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when you say that designers are better prepared or they employ better these techniques, maybe that is also valid also for Norway. I don't believe there is happening a lot outside. I think a lot outside is used to generate drawings from 3D modeling, maybe at best. There are still practices that are still doing it the old way, just drawings. So there is a vicious circle there because we are interconnected, right? The designers are interconnected. We depend upon each other, right? And
Yes.
the better the contract form, the best the outcome of the project, because it sets up a pace and the co-working feeling on the project, right? And people try maybe to work together to achieve that goal, and not everybody is trying to fight with suing the other parts on such, right? I don't. I still believe this is valid, like for the public administrations or for the public companies to be better, to demand better, to have better requirements. They need to have designers. How usually are these public companies creating or making the requirements for the project? Do they have their own employees, or they many of them maybe are hiring designers, right, or architects?
Yes.
So when you are doing that and you get an architect or a designer that is not proposing you, that is helping you to create a requirement for a project, for the old way of working, is difficult to set a tempo, a positive tempo for change in the project, right? There is no demand, so everything starts from planning. So it's something that people need to understand, that here we still have challenges, but people should start saying right now that this is the way to go, because everybody is saving more money, and especially the customer, and not only the customer, not only during the building phase, but for the entire life cycle of the project. And I think, like, this is part of our duty. We just need to promote and showcase the good happenings that we are lucky to have around us, and not only that, but maybe help even more, and push it even quicker, and accelerate the pace of innovation and adoption of BIM, which is still seen very skeptical in many countries around the world. So, but like I said, it's in the word, in the concept, nobody, like, there is nothing that points to like collaboration is important, but it's like, if you think about all the other good systems to work together, lean, or any other systems, like everything evolves around cooperation, right? If you have people, parts fighting each other all the time, of course you won't get anywhere. If you have people working together to achieve a goal, then it's going to happen quicker, right? Yeah. This is valid here as well. Yes, maybe the entrepreneur or general contractors are still lacking behind a little bit. They don't understand, but that will become much easier when the clients will have requirements. Like, they will have a BIM execution plan for the project, right? Like,
Yes.
this is the BIM execution plan that I have. You must follow. Otherwise, you won't qualify for this project, or I won't accept what you are delivering me, right? So we're talking about this, like the customer is very important, and the customer gets educated mostly or consulted by the consultants or designers, right? So it's very important for us as well to think about this. There are many companies. The most important, what is the most important here is that the biggest one and the most important ones are acting, are doing things, are not waiting for anything else. Uh, we talk about Statens, Agdesen, Statsbygg, and Baninur, Nye Veier maybe.
Yeah, yes.
The other smaller ones, they don't do it so much. Maybe the private ones, maybe not at all. I don't know. I don't know too much. I did not hear too much about this so far. But I still, I think, I believe this is going to happen very quickly after, like, companies working on projects for these bigger clients, right? When they will work on other projects, they will try to employ the better, the more effective techniques as well, right? So this is going to have a good effect. Yeah, well, I blubbered quite a lot about this. There is one other thing about this. Not only one other thing, actually, this is all about. Like, what we are talking here, it's about education. Not necessarily traditional education, but education to learn how to do things in a better way, right? What do you think about education that is offered for BIM today?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think the BIM education market also getting bigger. You can find a lot of BIM courses, BIM studies, and etc. So the problem is what I think that a lot of them is taught by theoretics. So knowing software and the right theories of BIM, but of course not all of them, but you find a lot of BIM courses, or it's just actually software vendors that provide solutions and they selling software using this BIM word. So this is actually problem here. There is a lack of case studies and real stories that, as you said. So there is still and also like market is saturated with, as I said, a lot of BIM tools, but it's also hard to know if they are good or not because you don't have the time maybe to test all of them, and you don't know how to they connect to others. So this is a problem, but approach should be that we need to show case studies. We should see real problems and how we can solve them, not only showing these sexy things that okay, you can model 3D like so fast, or you can put so much information into it, but actually, and no one says what kind of information and why we need them, how you should do this, what it could help you with. So this is a problem, and of course the knowledge is still very expensive. So like courses, like education, as I said, is like big market now, and all courses offers are, you need to pay a lot because it's like still people think that this is rocket science, okay, and they need to pay a lot. But actually, you find a lot of nice free source places, like for example your website or your
Thank you.
podcast, where you just can listen to experts and you can actually find out what is the key, what is the reason that we want to use BIM. So the problem is it's too much. In, for example, in Poland, there is like it's very funny because there is no BIM standards almost, and it's the first pilot project. But BIM is on the all universities, so it's like around 20 BIM studies. So, but still we don't implemented BIM in our country. So I think it's somewhere here is the problem, that why we still selling knowledge and not do so much with that. So the problem is that maybe focus should change a bit, and we should go maybe different direction, but by doing, not only learning dry theories.
You know, this is so true. And it's actually one of the reasons why I started this podcast, and maybe one of the reasons you started your blog as well. Because
Exactly.
all the or most of the courses out there and blogs and everything else, like I get the feeling that the only purpose of those is not actually to learn you how to apply anything on your life or on your work. It's just to feel you better about yourself, that you understand more about BIM.
Yes.
But that is just crazy. And sometimes I've seen many places where very interesting angles on BIM are propagated, and they are not close to the reality actually. And that's a really important one. And not only that, like if you look for courses in our industry, like for the AAC industry, as engineers, if you want to go to a course or something, they are really expensive. Like those are courses that is like barely the companies have money to do it. But if somebody would be interested as a person to do it, that would be like a monthly salary or something. Like if you want to attend to one week course every day or something, very profound course, right? So the business model of this, like it's very old. Like they people just don't know. Like just look around and see how many courses are out there for IT for example. Why wouldn't that be possible for us as well, for engineers? I don't why.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's like another problem maybe with free provided education. It might be that yeah, you don't know who that guy is or something, right? But when you need to sort it, it's your job to filter and see it's this good. Uh, what is this guy talking about? Does he know something about this? Does he have any experience with this? Does he has he talked with someone about this? How does he know this? Ask questions. Why do you say this? Is that doesn't make any sense? Ask. This is another problem for us.
Yes.
I perceive our industry very quiet. Like um, people don't come in contact with you very easily to talk open about real problems. It's only marketing and other things, but to talk openly about specific problems we face, I don't encounter too much. And this is one of other reasons I started the podcast. This is a very big, like it's a barrier. Like this is a barrier. Education, it's a real problem. Like in for us, and the education that it's meant to be used in practice. It's a real problem. And another problem, maybe not that big. It's the access to standards. Everything, like we want to employ openBIM and everything, but everything is closed, right? The rules are closed. I will start getting private messages for this because I don't stop just complaining about the price of standards. But yeah, I don't want to talk about the pricing, but I mean, like generally the entire environment is closed. Our mentality for everybody around us is just crazy. Like, yeah, I use Revit for this, I use that tool for that, I need that tool for that. Nobody is trying to look for a solution that might not pay any money for it. Okay, maybe bigger projects, yeah, you don't do that, but like I mean, like we don't have that mindset for open source. But that is it has been a problem also because complete, almost complete lack of tools. But now we start getting some tools. We start getting some tools that we can employ in our work as well, and people need to learn more about that, you know. So yes, this is, I don't know exactly how much is anybody learning from my podcast, but myself, I'm learning a lot. And something else, like what I'm projecting, what I'm doing here, it's everything honesty 100%. I don't hide, I don't filter anything. I ask what I think, and we talk about that. Like if you don't like it, yeah, you are allowed to have your own opinion. I have my own. That's fair enough. You don't need to believe like me. I'm open to questions all the time. ask me. It's very important. But yeah, I start. I will become a philosopher soon. Uh, but it's a problem. It's
It's a
definitely a
problem.
problem,
Yes.
and it should be much easier for individuals. Companies make profits; they should pay for to get educated. I completely agree with that. But for individuals, individuals should have options. And today, the options for individuals at best are limited. At best. What do you see? I'm just crazy, or
Yeah, of course. You have these platforms like learning platforms like LinkedIn or what is the other name? Udemy or some other place where you can find very nice content still, but it's sometimes you miss some parts of it. You just don't know how to maybe implement it, how it could act in the real world. So the problem is that with education is that we should change the angle and start from other side. Actually, what's happening there on the construction side, how they use it, which format they use, why they use that, what challenges they have, how to design this part that someone has better at the end, how I can avoid unnecessary work, how I can automate some stuff. So this is why we should learn BIM, not like you just give the whole lecture about ISO standards and you talk like 2 hours about some acronyms and names you don't even know. And this is a problem that you start each lecture with, okay, this is the standards, and then it's overwhelming that young people think, okay, this is too much for me. I never will go through those norms because, and you think that okay, if not, that's a problem for you. But no, this is not the way you should go. It should focus be placed somewhere else. That focus on smarter delivery, smarter working, new methods, and just step by step, not everything at once. So this is what I think regarding BIM and the BIM education actually.
yeah, yeah, that I completely agree with that. The way most of the presentations and most of the courses are overwhelming for most of the people. For
Yes,
most of the people, and it makes it difficult to like. This is why I'm talking so open on this podcast. I don't hide anything. I don't try. I just talk as a normal person, and I try
of
to
course.
ask. I
Yeah,
don't understand something. Why do you say that? I don't. What that does that mean? I'm sure I'm not the only. I'm not the dumbest person in the world, and I'm sure everybody, like most of the people, have problems understanding some concepts. And
of course.
many of us are afraid to ask because we are exposing ourselves. We are afraid about what our colleagues will think about us, that we don't know that thing. Like, no, I don't for me that doesn't matter. I'll let the entire world judge me. I will ask about dumb questions because I'm sure there are going to be people that will learn from that, people that have not heard about that concept. So yes, I think this is the mindset shift is very important here. I don't say that this way is the best for everybody, but I like, if you want for change to happen, you need to open your mind and stop being afraid to ask questions.
But one thing also comes to my mind regarding BIM education, because actually on BIM Corner, what we're trying to do, we try to ask people. So we sent a few surveys with open questions. Like the question was, what are you struggling with within BIM, or what is the challenges you have? So that's why it's also very for us that the feedback is good to know, because people know better what they want to read about, not the next generation of, I don't know, new software that can export something, but actually they sometimes ask very simple question, very simple, that we thought that, okay, it's actually obvious for us, but there is 1,000 people that don't know how to solve some simple things because they don't know where to search it. So BIM Corner we want to have this place as a place when you find actually adjusted knowledge that you want maybe go step by step there, and you find a way how you solve your problems. So this is the way. Also ask people and be with ask them and be colleague with them and try to get as much as you can. So this is the best way to learn.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree. And especially when like it's easy to understand that people won't understand all the concepts that are very obvious to you because you are working, you have a workflow. You have a workflow employed by the entire society or the entire industry in Norway, right? Which is not to say it's completely different environment in other countries, right? So things that now you have worked maybe 2 years, like, yeah, this is normal for me. Like I do this every day or every week, right? But most of those things most probably have not been started other places.
Yes, exactly.
And you are going to have always new people starting to learn, willing to learn new things, right? So it's very, very important. Yes, that's a very, very good focus. How is to be a BIM coordinator?
I I can say it was it was my dream when I got to know what is BIM actually. So before I worked for IT company, which also provide software, uh, and at a certain point I just realized that actually I don't have good, like very simple knowledge, and the same time I thought, okay, maybe this is the time I need to switch to the designing company to to designing company to find out what actually BIM means and how I can do it, like for some as a daily routines. So BIM coordinator at the beginning was a very challenging position because it actually in infrastructure world you need to focus very much on details regarding initial data. So as you know, like all the roads and the railways, it's like quite big projects and like huge areas. So this what BIM coordinator does at the beginning is provide initial data, convert the data for designers. So you just download from GIS sources, or you just convert data to and create model of existing situation. This is a at the beginning is very hard job because also you need to use plenty different tools because there is a plenty different formats and different disciplines. So this is actually this is like 30% of my job is to create convert initial data. But of course, it's very nice because I have a pleasure to work on the biggest project in Norway. So E39 is a part of the coast highway, and now on Essex, it's one of the also like BIM level 3 project. So BIM coordinator, it's very fun because I collaborate with people and I know what they expect from me. And this is nice that actually if someone doesn't know, they go directly to me and ask questions. And I usually also don't know answer, but this is a nice that I can together we can find out a solution. So BIM coordinator is a position which helps also people to create better models and but also advise sometimes how you can add this information to model, what is a better way, how you can, what do you think about that, what is the solution we should use, how we should implement it. So this is nice that also I am challenged a lot at this position. So I'm really glad to have this experience, and of course I recommend everyone who wants to start with BIM or be aware of the benefits and challenges. BIM coordinator is the right choice.
Yeah. What tools are you using most often?
Okay, so there is plenty tools, but I can say that mostly I'm a proficient with Trimble tools. So I use NovaPoint a lot, NovaPoint roads, railways, but also Trimble Quadri. Trimble Quadri is very good software for collaboration, but also for creating existing models. This is what I'm using a lot. I use Civil 3D for managing a lot of data regarding input data. I use Navisworks. Navisworks we use for federated model in some cases, but also the same time we use Quadri for Windows. Sorry, for desktop. This is you can say this is NovaPoint. This is Navisworks, but on a website. I use Easy Project. This is a software we invented for the 39 project. This is also like model federated like BIM Hub, BIM Collab for issue management, Trimble Connect. I use also Focus Cut from a Norwegian company, and yeah, I think it's. I don't use the Revit. I don't use the Tekla. So mostly infrastructure software.
How do you deal with large projects? I happen to have lots of problems with the large projects.
Yeah, it's a very good question actually, because big projects for me, it's when you have like more than 100,000 objects and, for example, 20 kilometers and 1,000 models. This is big project for me. So
1,000 models? What do you mean by
1,000
1,000
models.
models?
So if, for example, design road, but the road is also divided into models, into other roads. So you have a main highway, but you also have interchange, you have a smaller roads, you have a bridges, you have a water and sewer system, electricity and stuff like that. So you have 1,000 models. So you need to somehow handle it. So I can just tell you from the perspective of a 39 project. So this is around 20 kilometers projects. So for example, for designing, we use NovaPoint software, and for intern collaboration between water and sewer designers and road designers, we use Quadri. So we put this data on the Quadri server, but for manage it, we need to split the whole project into partials, but it's also like it's VBS, it's work breakdown structure. So we have three main areas, and each of these area reflect the project. So actually, it's the one project, one big assignment, but actually divided into three smaller areas. And within these areas, we have the same time smaller less objects, and it's easier to also navigate, also do stuff, also just design faster. So this is the key factor sometimes when you have a big project to divide it into smaller ones.
I see. But let's focus a little bit on Civil 3D, if I may ask this. Like, does this usually have a big model built in, or you have parts of split it into smaller models from Civil 3D as well?
To be honest, Civil 3D, we use not all functionality they have. We use only some of them. In your console, we also have this own panel, own ribbon that we use for our own adjusted tools that we need. So we run Civil 3D with these settings. So I use it, for example, for importing huge data from SOSI format. So you don't find it in Civil 3D, but also we provide some 2D maps for designers. So we need to somehow insert this data. So I use the SOSI connector. Other thing I use, so for example, landscape architects also use this Civil 3D to design. And as you said, Civil 3D is quite, it's difficult to manage big data, but we use data shortcuts. That it means that you just create data in one drawing and then you xref it to your Civil 3D model. So we use data shortcut and those connectors I mentioned before. So not so much functionality from Civil 3D is used in I can say also in Norway, that Norway is only a small part of designers use it.
Yeah. So, but is it easier? You mentioned XREF. It's easier to handle the models with XREF instead of having everything in once.
Yeah, because for example, let's just give you some numbers. It's for me big area, big model can have around 100 megabytes. So if you have 100 megabytes, very detailed terrain, so the better is to just create it in one place and then just view it in the not directly in this model, because you need to also decrease amount of data you use in this drawing. So the better is just to view it reflected in your original model, and still you just keep the same functionality, so you can work with the model with this model. But the capacity, it's not you don't use capacity you have in this drawing. So this is my way of working with huge data. And of course you can also xref other elements used in civil, like alignments, road corridors, sewer systems, stuff like that.
Yeah. Let's pivot a little bit to another topic that might be interested for many people willing to work more with BIM. What softwares are you think are most important to know that can get you closer to BIM or work mostly with BIM?
It's actually a good question, because I always try to find out which software covers the most of the topics I need to know. So of course, if you want to work as we can also say that there is a bit different roles in a BIM. You have a BIM modeler, you have or BIM technician, you have BIM coordinator, and actually what is missing in Norway, I don't know, correct me, but BIM coordinator and BIM manager in Norway is one person. It's not you don't have a position BIM manager.
That's true. Maybe there are a few companies that have this position, but is not defined by any means. And not and BIM coordinator positions as well differs from company to company.
Yes.
Have less or more responsibilities. But I think this is something generally around the world. And something else that I think it's like outside Norway, there are many more BIM managers, but actually there might be BIM coordinators in Norway that have more responsibility than a BIM manager outside. And I feel that people maybe not maybe, but it is like BIM coordinator would be the first step to get a BIM manager. But actually here, like, I think these roles, you're right, are overlapping a lot.
Yes.
Are overlapping a lot. And even if you, like, you might do the same things that a BIM manager is doing in another place. So for example.
So exactly. So if we need to choose some software at the beginning, so it's also worth to set direction where we want to go. So for example, I work within infrastructure sector. So actually, all tools I need is that I can recreate the infrastructure world. So I use a lot Nova Point and Quarry, as I said, but maybe it's not best choice for someone who want to work within building construction. So maybe Revit is a good tool for them. So the thing is also, do you want to become a BIM coordinator, or you want to work with a project as a designer? So if you are a designer, so maybe better is to start with a Revit or a Tekla and learn parametric design like Grasshopper or Dynamo. So this is a solution that you also can do. But if you are BIM coordinator, you need to learn about formats, what kind of formats are on the market, are people using, what formats can do, but also collaboration platforms where you can actually gather all different disciplines in one place, and you need to manage them. So collaboration platforms, there are plenty out there, and issue management systems as well. So I think I just and some of them also have a free trial period, so you don't need to pay a lot of money for licensing, but the first you can try with the trial versions, and this is also nice with solutions out there.
Yeah. So if we take this question to a step further, uh, like, yeah, this would be some tools to learn, but are there any other skills that might be useful if let's say if you want to become a BIM coordinator in your case?
Yeah, I think first of all, you need to like solve the problems. You need to like to know how things works, and how you can actually impact in some cases, and how you can help people to understand the issue. So uh, I think soft skills also are very important here, that you need to be good at making connection with someone, or you need to be good at explanation things. But you also, as I said, you need to have your favorite software, because sometimes also you start maybe working with some software and you are so good that maybe the next step is to become a BIM coordinator. But always you have this domain software that where when it's some problem occurs, that okay, you think how you could solve it in your software, already. So I did always. So when I have I'm facing some problem, I just try to figure it out how I could solve it in my software. I know. So this is the thing is important, and of course, you BIM coordinator should talk with people, should ask question with designers, and ask what are their needs, because you can be very good at software, but maybe those things you use are not they don't need something what you offer them. So first ask them, and still relying on the Kaizen concept, don't stop evolving. Learn new things, explore more, and yeah, this is the best way to become a BIM coordinator. And you need to be also like technical oriented. So if you are working on an infrastructure project, you actually and you manage all these disciplines, you also need to know what they design, why they design like this, and what the attributes they use, what object they use, because if you do, after all, clash detection or conflict control, you need to know this stuff, because for you could be it looks okay, but for them it's actually maybe wrong solution. So this is I can recommend here.
Yeah, that sounds good. Now let's talk a little bit about the project you have worked on.
So briefly saying about the project I'm part of. So this is a project, Coast Highway Route is a part of it. It's around 20 kilometers. There was high demands regarding carry out the project. It was the contract was awarding by best value procurement method, and this is a total enterprise, which means that contractor got a job, and we as a consultant work for contractor. So it means also that contractor pushing us very hard. So so we deliver quite high, good quality of data. What is also characteristic for this project is BIM level 3. It means that up-to-date data, connected data, interoperability, connecting everything, automated workflows. And also we include in the model, we create all dimensions regarding cost, safety, health, risk, sustainable. This is a drawingless project, drawingless design and construction. We provide also one source of truth, you can say it. So this is the hub where you put all information, and this is a application. This is a software we had to invent because there was no one on the market. So
Like are you talking about CDEs?
I talk about EC project. It's invented by Consult Information Systems.
But it is a CDE, it's a common data environment, something
We
like BIM
can
360.
more advanced because also you put more stuff there. You put more elements, you put all models. You put also what you have this what happening on the. You can actually pin the mark information, add information about what's happening on the construction site. You can filter data in the 3D viewer. You can also handle tasks. You can manage tasks. You have 5D, 4D simulation. So actually is more advanced, and you can also open it on handheld devices offline. So this is also something that it's like special about this application.
But it is built open Forge.
It's of course it's built on the Autodesk Forge. So this is yeah, but also the functionality of Autodesk Forge was limited in some areas. So our division, IT division, Noise, had to also invent some parts of this application self. So it's like adjusted by us also. So
Okay.
yeah, but yes, I can say also that this project was awarded this year for the best project in Autodesk University. So it was the best project in BIM, within BIM.
Nice. Congratulations. Like we start to get more of this in Norway.
Yeah, it's quite advanced market, so it's many.
Yeah, that's very good. Let me ask you now something interesting about this. How, like you said that the contractor is requiring quite advanced data, quality of data.
Yes.
How good is this data thought to be used in facility management and operation?
In facility management, yeah.
Later on, do you have any requirements from the client to provide data that can be used later?
This is very good question I asked before, but I'm not sure I can write it, answer it correctly. But what I thought that first of all, we gather EFC files for all models, and then the EFC files we deliver to customer. And but I'm thinking about the system they're gonna use.
Okay,
I'm not
so
yeah.
let's make this easier. So actually, but in a way, from your answer, I already understand that. So they don't have a clear requirement for this. Like they don't have that. Like they have a BIM execution plan, but for asset management. Like for example, you should be like we need this kind of information that we are going to use for asset management. You don't have this.
Uh, I don't know. I don't want to say wrong.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'm not sure, but I can check it twice before I can give you answer. But
You can
yes,
leave
I
a
think
comment later.
yeah, I
In
can
the video.
come back to you with this answer for this. But I think because as you know, the asset management in infrastructure world
Yes, it's not so
is
much. Yeah.
it's so not so much. It's we are getting there. We are not yet there. So it's happening. So I know some companies introducing some software, some systems, and new wire as well. So I know that they have like collaboration with the Swedish company and Triona, and together with Trimble, they invent something for them. But I'm not sure if they use the same system. Maybe they gonna use the same system we established, this EC project. Maybe this one, I think.
But who is the client here? It's Nearwire or Statens Vegvesen?
A client is Nivayer and the contractor is AF-Gruppen.
AF-Gruppen, yeah.
AF-Gruppen, and we work with AF-Gruppen.
Yeah, that's a pretty good team there.
Yeah, they have like quite a good relation, and it's not the first project we do together, AF-Gruppen and Ruconsult.
That's good. Why is this project special? Are there any other things that make this project special? Part of the like, are there specific challenges on this project?
Yes, I think, for example, interoperability. So we talked before. So how you can keep up-to-date data. So it's very complicated if you need to update your BIM or your BIM model every day. So we do a lot of automatization within this project. So we use scripts for updating our federated models, but also we use RPA. RPA, it stands for robotic process automation. So I think this is a special also that you include many dimensions in your model and many things, and you can view it and you can open it in a browser. So challenging was a lot amount of data. So I said like 1,000 models, how you can handle it, how you can filter this data afterwards. So you have model, but actually you want to have specific area, specific element, you want to check it, how you can do it. So also what is important nowadays when you collaborate with a contractor is a common language. So we use MMI, which stands for Model Maturity Index, where we exactly plan how should our delivery looks like. And also this is advantage, no advantage of using it, because this the form of contract is project and build, but we do it parallel, simultaneously. So actually we plan project, design, and after like maybe some months after, they start to build it, and we deliver work packages at construction. So this is also was challenging how we can do that actually they don't have a delay, and they do it in right, how they do it correctly at the construction site.
Yeah, that sounds like a big challenge. Did you hear about Speckle?
Speckle?
Yeah,
No, what is it?
it's a platform, open source platform that you can use as a BIM server, and
Okay.
it's used to connect different softwares. So I don't know if it might be a solution for this to connect maybe the software you model the project in with the federated model to feed it with the updates. I don't know if it can do this, but I know they are using it to connect it between different disciplines. I heard about, so might be something interesting to look into it.
Yeah, but challenging here is that we use many different softwares from many different vendors. So actually we use Autodesk products, we use Nemeshek products, we use Bentley products, we use Trimble products. So this is very hard at the end to collect all these data in one place. So all of them needs to be exported to EFC file. But you can also imagine that when you have 1000 models, which you need to update every day, and you have limited, like you have to do it through export, then you need to find other ways. So that's why we use also here RPA, so which helps us to automate these processes to export data, and we can see that we cheat somehow. It's we cheat because we don't use this open API, but we directly also take data from the software and put to SharePoint and then to EC project. So this is the way we also manage to have this interoperability some way.
I might be wrong, but if I remember correctly, I heard about people using Speckle as a platform between, like, as a BIM server between Tekla, Revit, and structural analysis software. And what it actually does, like, you don't need to export anything. It just takes the data you give instruction to it to take that you need in the other software. So it's
Yes.
in a way it's a replacement for IFC. If I might be very wrong about this, but this is what I understood so far. I did not use too much thing to dive. I did not dive too deeper into this, but it stands out like a very nice solution, and I see more often posts about it on LinkedIn. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but also other things is, okay, you have this connection, but at the end, what sort of data are you going to deliver? Are you going to deliver the native format of this speckle, or you need to export it to other format?
No,
It's just to collaboration. Yes, it's to just in design process you use it.
yes. For example, it might be like you want to export, let's say, some walls of a building, walls and to a robot, for example, and you can instruct this from Speckle to feed into robot only the walls, and not other information, but not only the walls, but only the information that is needed for structural analysis. So not everything, not all the details, but you can give it information. Like you can set a requirement, like I want this information to take it and feed it in the other one. So yeah, but like I said, my knowledge is very limited. Like please feel free to have a look at it and see. I heard about there is someone from Multiconsult started to using this, and he promised me to update me later on how is going on with this.
Yeah, but another example I just found out. This is the new Trimble Quadri. It's also a solution that uses a lot of connectors, and you can collect all data in one place. So you can have a connection with Civil 3D, with Bentley Open Roads, with Tekla, with Revit, with ProjectWise, with Trimble Connect, all different vendors, and you collect data in one place through API. So this is
Yeah.
something is going to be also more popular now. So this is nice that we are going this direction, that you don't need to lose your data through export, through, for example, EFC file, but you can directly take data you need and push it back and just
Exactly.
deliver what you want.
Yeah, exactly. This is I think exactly this is doing Speckle as well. Yeah, because we're talking about innovation and such. What other interesting trends do you see in AEC?
I see that in Norway there is it's getting more popular, this total enterprise contracts that the contractor and designer work together. So I think in this case that you need also methodic that can help you to understand each other. So it comes to be more and more popular VDC, virtual design and construct, especially in Norway, maybe other countries as well. What else? You have this, of course, parametric design is almost everywhere now, but how you can use it and, for example, decrease the CO2 emissions, that you design better and you deliver better data. The same like connecting GIS, GIS and BIM. Also, this
GIS.
is GIS, and it's also trend now that you connect these two words. It was not happening before, but for example, in new project I'm participating, E6, also we do this, that we connecting these two words. Of course, openBIM is getting better because actually they released lately EFC 4.3, its new format, also mentioned to be for infrastructure world, and drawing less projects, how you can cut drawings and which are made for construction, and how you can actually use model on the construction side. So this, and like I see then MME, it's model maturity index. Also, it's a kind of trend. Not all use it, but if we use it, then we have a common language. And for example, there was a problem when you get some initial data or drawings, or actually from the tender phase, you get some input data, but as a designer, you couldn't find out on which level it could be, because it was very detailed. You can say detailed LOD, but you don't know actually in which project process it was, design process. So MME gives you also a possibility to find out on which stage the design is. So this is also something we are trying to implement in projects and use it often, and people starting to using it. So this will be also the standard that everyone, and in Norway it replaced the LOD. So I think this is also a trend in here on this market. So yeah, and I don't know much about machine learning, but I know that also there is some projects which using that, or AI as well. So this is a trend, but far away, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. I can ask you more a little bit about the part how can 3D models be used on the building site. Are you aware about any applications or any platforms that are tackling this issue?
I can just maybe tell you a bit from the perspective on from infrastructure projects. So what you have right now is machine systems, or how it calls machine steering systemer in Norwegian.
Machine controlling system.
Machine control systems you have connected to your machines at the construction site, so you can feed them with model, and actually they build and they recreate what are in a BIM model. So they actually use 3D geometry to create a corridor or to just make some fills or cutting or stuff like that. And also instruments on the construction site, they can also connect to the cloud, to some application that offers it, and they can download directly to the instruments. And also this is good for stakeout data in the field. But of course you have drones. You can just scan the area, you can do photogrammetry and then collect data and push back to software, design software. So it's a two-directional way, but of course you have handheld devices that you have more and more application that you can open on your iPad and display a model to contractors. It's what else? You have this augmented reality. So, for example, Trimble site vision. You can actually be at the site and you can overlap real world with this virtual world, and you can see, for example, how it will look like in near future. So this is examples I know, but of course using models directly, you need also have this common language, and you need to be sure that you deliver is people at the site on the site, they use it correctly. So yeah.
I understand. But I mean, like, from a perspective of people, let's say, like, to eliminate drawings.
Yes.
Like, any platforms that you are using the model to take all the information you need to, for example, to place the reinforcement or anything else. From this point of view, do you have any? Did you use anything, or did you see the contractors you have been working with using on the site?
I think placing reinforcements, so we can say that the Trimble site vision, for example, can with this augmented, but of course you have Trimble Connect that you can also extract data you need, or just we now invented this easy project, is the software where you will have possibility to see longitudinal profile and cross section without printing out from the model the drawings. So this is the next step, that you have these new views, new possibilities inside your application, so you can omit to produce the data, that actually you can only just view it. What you need, you just click on the screen and you have the longitudinal profile, and you can adjust it also. So this is something it's coming to be more and more popular.
Yeah, interesting. I was having in mind tools like Dalux or StreamBeam. Did you use
Yes.
these tools?
No, this is not. They are not adjusted so much to infrastructure. Maybe more in building construction.
I don't know.
But yes, I heard about them. They are so popular in Nordic countries.
Yeah, there are definitely many companies that don't have a strategy about BIM, how to implement it in their own company. There are still many of them in Norway as well, not only around the world, right? So, how should this be done? Do you have any advice regarding this? How to implement BIM in a company?
Yeah, it's a hard question, but I can give you some examples. I also wrote about this article because I was so fascinated about this topic, and I think that there are a few steps you need to do. But first of all, you need to just establish your own goals, where you want to go, why you want to do BIM, how you want to implement, what is BIM for you, what tasks you want to maybe automate, or what you want to get from this BIM. Because as we talked before, BIM is not only tools, but maybe some also practices that you want to work smarter. So maybe not all at once, but maybe better is to implement step by step. So the best is to choose some pilot project where you can test it, or just simple element, just short section of your road, and try to figure it out how you could implement it. So maybe it's if you didn't use 3D dimensional design, so start doing that. It's also important that you design in 3D, but don't do that you first create 2D and then from this you create model, but start to just put more effort to create 3D model, and then if you want, produce documentation from this model. So of course you need also some structure, so maybe try to find out some solution, some common data environment. But if you don't use common data environment, maybe focus first on how you structure your folders, how you structure your data. So you have just simple server, but you start putting data in right place, that everyone who work with you on this project, where to find stuff. Start to making notes and write down best practices, because as you know, the best way is learning by testing. So you test a lot and then you find out some nice stuff. So maybe it's better to write it down, that next person doesn't ask you, okay, how you did it, but actually, okay, you have some processes established, just do it like this. Monitor workflow, so you can actually see how your design goes, and you can measure it. Monitor workflow is better when you first do meetings. You can improve these meetings, and you can measure it also if those meetings were effective or not. So you can actually ask participants if you contribute in 100%, if you feel good with this, actually what was on the meeting, stuff like this. So also construction of good meetings, like prepared meetings. So this is also a way to start with BIM. So use BIM model on during meetings. So not only for designing, but also try to fill model and combine others' point of view and create a common area where you can discuss the problems. So this is the beginning, and of course, like, try to maybe do simple multidisciplinary clash control. There is several softwares that offer it for free, so you can do very, very easy steps, and it's not that you have to take the solution from the shell and implement, but you can just start with the repetitive task you already did and just try to improve them, work smarter, work more efficient, and you can also limit the printing of paper documentation, because you have also tool to review your design without printing. So try to figure it out how you can cut the time of the whole process, which processes you can automate, and at the same time focus on 3D modeling to produce 3D modeling, and through 3D model deliver 2D documentation. This is a key, I think.
Yeah, this sounds a lot like this is a very common sense advice. Like there are so many small things at the same, very important, not necessarily about BIM, but that will help you to adopt BIM. Like, yeah, start with small things that are not scary, because that way it will enable you to see better the value in adopting BIM
Of
and
course.
implement it, right? Yeah. Cool. Now tell me, what plans do you have, guys, with BIM Corner? What do you want to do in the future?
Yeah, so BIM Corner, as you know, is it's a blog, it's a website. So actually want establish maybe kind of association that we are just together. So the plan is also still to provide high quality articles, but maybe we also think about running YouTube channel. So this is also challenging, something we want to try to deliver content, but in a different way. So we still see that there is many topics we can talk about. So we want to still evolving and also meet interesting people, like for example you, that we
Thank you.
can learn from. So this is we want to establish this common that people can talk about BIM with us. We can have discussions. We can start to ask people. So we want to show that don't be afraid, and you can ask us whatever you want, any question you want. So this is we have like kind of mission to also educate the market. So we don't have I can say we don't have a business model that we are not pursuing some money. We just want to do good job now, and we know that in the future we get paid off from this. So actually the mission is to make BIM more common, at everyone can get find place where they can start with BIM. And I think through this also we can afterwards work in a better environment that everyone use BIM. So yeah, this is just our mission.
We have the same objectives. Yeah.
Yes.
And let's hope we get a better planet, because this is the
Yes.
end goal. Less emissions, better quality buildings, better life quality for people living in buildings, because everybody is living in a building in this planet.
Yeah,
or
but
most of us.
also working smarter. How you just think how much unnecessary work you do every day. So if you can automate it, you can focus on different things, you know?
Exactly.
It's our goal, actually.
It's very important. It's very good to hear that. Don't give up and keep doing it. It's very important to have a beacon of light between all the noise that is pummeling us from all the sides. So yes, keep doing the good job you are doing. How can somebody contact you if somebody wants to ask you something?
Yeah, so if someone wants to contact me directly, I'm quite I like LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn, and of course through our website, you can through bimcorner.com you can find we have like a contact profile where you can send directly message to us. So I recommend these two ways, LinkedIn and our website.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, Marcin, it was very nice to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
For coming along. I learned a lot, and I will keep learning. We'll definitely stay in touch, and I will bother you with questions once in a while.
Super. Feel free to contact me anytime.
Thank you.